Hey, everybody!
Jared, you know, I'm kind of tired of your shit. I am. I'm real tired of your shit, alright? I mean, passive-aggressively abuse me. You don't show up for shit on time. You drag me to these shitty movies. And now I gotta kill a clown. And that was the best line of the movie.
That kid had all the best lines.
Dude, it's Finn Wolfhard. He's a fucking awesome actor. I want to see what he goes on to do after he stops being a child actor.
He had this.
We watched it, by the way, in case you didn't figure it out.
We watched. There was. He had.
I'm conflicted with this movie. There's a lot that I like, and there's a lot that I don't like. And unfortunately, what I don't like is what I don't like across the entire idea of it. The book, the TV series, and now this movie.
Yeah.
Which is the demon clown thing.
Yeah. My problem with, like, this was... Ugh. I don't understand the hype for this movie, but, like, let me just go on record before the internet tears us a new asshole. I don't like horror movies. They're all very generic. Most are generic and do the same things. And for me, unfortunately, this movie fell into that category where you could have just had like a mental terror kind of movie.
Right. Well, that's one of the things I really liked about this movie is kind of the way that it plays with expectations and the ideas of grief, loss of innocence, facing one's own mortality at a very young age, and just growing up in general. And there's a lot, if you removed all the stupid demon clown thing, I know technically he's like an outer god type thing that found its way into our world, don't correct me on this bullshit, but if you remove Pennywise from the equation, like, entirely, and it was just about the kids dealing with stuff like abuse, losing a brother, fear of the unknown, and having to grow up being different or the new guy in a town that doesn't like that.
Yeah.
That's a solid movie in and of itself. And again, if you removed all the stupid demon shit, you've got a damn good movie.
It wasn't necessary for me. It wasn't even necessarily like the demon stuff.
Right.
Like it was. They gave us like the demon stuff, and then jump scare.
Yeah. As far as horror goes, this movie is really, really forgettable.
I don't like jump scare movies because I'm not scared. It's just like surprising me. I think I actually, like, I saw most of them coming. There's one that threw me off. I don't even remember where it was. I was like...
Well, that's the problem with jump scares in general, is they're just meant to spook you in the moment. They don't have any lasting effect to them. They're just meant to go, woogity-woo, and you're done. Which, if you think there's going to be any kind of actual horror or suspense in this movie, just fucking chunk that expectation on the dumpster. Skarsgård tries his damnedest in this movie, but God, do they not give him anything to work with. All of this stuff it's basically the exact same problem Tim Curry had in the last one, is he'll show up and go, I'm going to get ya! I'm going to go away!
Yeah,
and
like...
When he's not doing that, it is the whole, him just going... and trying to be that.
Like, I could understand, like, if he had to just, like, shown up and, like, stared and just put the fear in him and then vanished.
Right.
But, like,
I wouldn't even have that.
He, like, physically assaults these kids, tells them he's gonna kill them, and then backs the fuck off.
Well, again, that's a problem with the source material in general. And that's something that I don't like about either the book, the series, the miniseries, or this movie.
Thank God we skipped over kids banging in the sewer, though.
No, but we did get very heavily implied molestation and rape on the girl's part.
Also...
Which brings me to the other reason I don't really like Stephen King books, is Stephen King. And I don't like Stephen King stuff. To borrow Red Letter Media's description, he comes off as a creepy sex pervert. And, yeah, he wrote a scene about a bunch of kids banging in a sewer, which was like, you're never going to film that. No one's ever going to put that in. Why? And that's like the one thing everybody brings up when you talk about it is like, oh, you know, there's this scene in the book where all the kids are fucking in the sewer. It's like, why? The fuck do I care? And
because in Stephen King's mind, the way to motivate everybody is a gangbang.
Or cocaine. Cocaine is a huge motivator in Stephen King. Not his books, just to him. Cocaine's a huge motivator in Stephen King. And, well, the reason this one's so well known, I think, Stephen King's notorious for churning out books, like, in a couple of months. Like, he's a very, very quick writer. He'll slam you out book after book after book after book after book, and all of them will be fairly good. But it ended up taking, like, something to the tune of 3 to 4 years for him to write. It's like a 1,000-page book. It's a fucking dictionary.
Yeah.
Almost. You could basically have every single word in the lexicon crammed into that damn book. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But like I say, the big problem, even when I read the book way back when, I never got all the way through it because I hate Stephen King's writing. Let me preface this. He's very good with descriptions, and he's really good at world building and fleshing out. But as far as actual characters, I can't do it. I just can't. It's either you're the insecure poet that no one believes is worth a damn, or you're the one-note bully that just wants to beat and/or sex them.
Yeah,
there were
so many fucking stereotypes in this movie.
Yeah,
like don't get us wrong. Like the cast killed it.
Oh no, everybody in this movie
fantastic.
Everybody in this movie was most everybody in this movie was great.
Yeah, mullet kid wasn't that fantastic, but
what was that?
The mullet kid and the kid who was supposed to be 15, but he was clearly 25.
Well, that's where you kind of get into the problem. Again, of Stephen King, is he puts all the emphasis in the character development into the main characters and gives absolutely nothing to the side characters. Like, even in the book, the bully is just this, I'm gonna kill him. And that's all he is. He's just a bully. And at least in this, they tried to give him a bit of a backstory, but there's not enough reason for me to give a shit because he's already an irredeemable asshole. So, there's no reason for me to care when he ends up killing his dad.
Yeah.
So, it's the problem with Stephen King's characters in general, is that he either overly stuffs them full of exposition and worry and hope and magic, that they become this unbelievable figurehead that he is placed in a situation to resolve it, or they become a prop to help move the story along a little bit with no character.
Honestly, that was, for me in this movie, that was the fat kid. Like, he had very little storyline.
Yeah.
And he was there to dump exposition.
I would rather have that than do what the miniseries did and just try and squeeze everybody in and get no development for basically your main group. You get very broad overtones. Your main focus is Bill and his journey of loss and regret with the loss of his brother.
Yeah.
Which I was completely okay with. I was, believe me, I was 100% okay with them just going, you know what, we're going to put most of our character development into the guy who had his brother killed accidentally.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll work with that. That's good. That's a good spot for it to be. No problems there. Everybody else comes across, you understand what their deal is, nobody's really over-explained, but at the same time, I didn't feel anybody was under-explained.
For me, it was the fat kid. Like, he just...
No. Ben.
Yeah.
Yes,
He really didn't have, like... He's the only character we didn't see his parents.
But you never saw Mike's either, but then again, he doesn't actually show up in the group until almost the 2/3 mark in this movie.
Well, for his parents are dead, though. You see his grandpa.
Yeah, let's talk about that for just a second, because this is a systemic problem, again, with Stephen King's characters, in that his main characters he pours everything into and leaves nothing for anyone else. Why is the only job this kid has a future in is fucking killing sheep with a blowgun?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. In 1989, I don't think anybody's looking at a 13-year-old going, fucking shoot the sheep in the head or you're going fucking nowhere in life.
Well, this movie was set in 89.
Yeah.
But,
oh, that reminds me.
If we look at the original, it was set
in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there
I really
would be where the kid would have a future in killing sheep.
Right. I wouldn't have a problem if it did that, and it was set then. But some of this stuff doesn't translate so well.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in just a second. Hang on, I'm looking stuff up. There's a lot of throwbacks to the 80s. And one of them we noticed immediately. Holy shit, Batman. Okay. I thought that Batman 89 was only rated PG. It is actually rated PG-13.
Yeah.
So I just checked that out. There's a movie house that lists Batman,
Lethal Weapon 2,
Lethal Weapon 2,
Nightmare on Elm Street
and
5.
Nightmare on Elm Street 5. What a triple feature that fucker has! One really great movie, one sort of good movie, and one movie that nobody on the goddamn planet asked for.
It would have been 1962.
Whatever.
By the way.
Whatever. Again, not a lot of this translates well.
Yeah.
In 89, there was kind of this dying off of kids just running out in the middle of nowhere playing with each other and just dicking around during the summer. You can sort of get away with it being a smaller town, so you could have the excuses like, oh, it's one of those towns everybody knows everybody. If something happens, somebody's going to know. But then you have the same problem that nobody's solved this murder problem that is like 6 times the national average.
Yeah.
So it's very, very
You don't even
conflicting.
deal with cop. The only time you deal with the cop, it's the asshole kid's dad. And
Yeah, there's like 2 cops in this town, and one of them is he beats his son and scares the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not enough of it here. And again, if you were to cut most of that, I would say you could probably cut about 30 minutes of this movie out.
Yeah.
You could probably make it about 100 minutes long. You cut out all the supernatural stuff. You cut out most of the bullies and the one-note characters that mean nothing to the overall story. And you would have a really, really good coming-of-age story.
Yeah.
Like, even if you went down into the sewers and you had him find his brother's coat at the very end, it's something that brings closure to the character, and that could be his realization was the clown isn't real. It's all been this hallucination excuse that I've concocted to try and frame my brother's death, making sense in a world that doesn't make sense. But I finally come to terms with this, and I believe it now. And that would have been a perfect ending for it. But instead, we get Peter Skarsgård going, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. That's actually what he does at one point.
Yeah.
It's really hilarious. I doubted Skarsgård in this role because all they showed in the previews was him going and doing that. He is fucking hilarious in this movie. There's one part I absolutely love. Mike is getting beaten up by the bullies. He looks over in the tall grass, and Pennywise is sitting there eating a hand, and he's got blood on his chin, and he waves there, and he's like, ah! I'm just like, I was sitting in the theater laughing my ass off. It's a wonder I didn't choke. Because I immediately look at you and go, tell me I'm not the only one! I can't be!
I laughed. There were moments I laughed and no one else in the theater was laughing.
Yeah. There's definitely points where if you don't like jump scary movies, then you're gonna laugh because it's the exact same thing that you'll laugh at in other movies like this. And
I'm trying to think the one that just cracked me the hell up. I don't remember.
Was it when I looked at you and gave you the black guy dies first in the horror movie cliche? Because you laughed pretty hard at that. There came a really great time when they were all deciding whether or not they were going to go confront Pennywise, and Mike the black guy backs out of this. I leaned over to Jared and was like, I'm sorry, Bill, but I'm a black man in a horror movie, and age does not make any difference to this fact.
I did laugh pretty hard at that.
So, there's fun to be had in this movie. It just really sucks that everything good in this movie is immediately accompanied by
a jump scare?
By a jump scare that really doesn't scare that well. So if you don't get scared at that, you're just taken out of the movie every single time.
Yeah, I was more annoyed than anything.
Yeah, which is damn sad because there's some really good emotional weight to this movie. There's some really good scenes in this, and just every single time it's like, oh, don't forget, we gotta kill a clown in here.
I think even if you didn't cut out Pennywise, if you left like this monster at the end, there shouldn't have been so many of the jump scare scenes. Like, a good jump scare every now and then,
right,
well placed. Like, the only one that got me, I just remembered, was when he busted out of the fucking projector. Like, when he busted out of the wall.
Yeah, that was decent. I was more horrified by the CGI looking awful in that scene.
Yeah.
But
I think if you're trying to do a horror movie, you should make it kind of like this sense of dread and not like just, you know, piece it out like, you know, maybe there's something behind them, but maybe they feel it, but maybe they never see it.
I mean, kind of like how the original Haunting did back in 1957, I think?
Yeah, and then like...
Or how Alien did back in the 70s?
Like, yeah, and then like you maybe see him... Like, they all maybe see him once from a distance or something like that. And, like, they know something's there. And then, like, you can do the garage scene where he finally jumps out at him.
And where you finally get your good look at him.
Yeah,
and then... How horrifying you could be.
Then, like, they can do the going to confront him in the sewer. Like, that... Just take out the jump scares... And because he's a creature that feeds on fear.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're constantly making your characters feel a sense of dread, even the blood out of the sink thing could have still worked.
No, that was actually a really effective scene.
Yeah. But, like, you need to do...
Right up until the dad came in, and it's just, like...
Yeah.
Absolute no reaction. It's like, you worry me, Beth. It's like... God damn, could you put any kind of emotion into you? I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling with you.
Yeah, but it's like that. There were too many jump scares for me.
Yeah, I'll second that. Another problem I found, Pennywise makeup.
Yeah.
Why would anyone go towards this clown? When this clown that's painted up to look like a demon looks at you and goes, hey, you want to come down into the sewer?
No.
We've got circuses, and want popcorn and peanuts and balloons.
Yeah, he just looked like, I can get they were trying to go for creepy, but...
Right, but the clown part isn't supposed to be creepy. It's supposed to be a clown. It's supposed to be disarming towards the kids. That way he lures them in more.
Yeah.
That way the ultimate horror collapses in on them and he feeds off their fear when he's revealed to be an outer demon.
Yeah.
So, the clown thing didn't work because he already looks like a monster. And again, it's the late 80s, about to be the 90s, and people really stopped letting their kids just go out and do what the fuck ever for untold amounts of time.
Yeah.
So, it really doesn't work there. All in all, I would say this movie is at least worth a rental, but only if you're really interested in what the actors would look like later in their acting abilities. Because I really want to see what everybody in this movie goes on to do. The kids. Because the kids, again, are great. And I really, really enjoyed them. I mostly went in this because I've seen Finn Wolfhard be really fucking good in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And he was like the big draw for a lot of people. And I understand why. And he's great. He is fucking awesome in this movie. I'm really glad they let kids swear in this movie because he drops really good F-bombs.
He had some of the best.
He had my favorite line.
Yeah.
And now I've got to kill a fucking clown. None of it sounds forced. None of it sounds like they're trying to be edgy. It just sounds like they're hanging out with each other. And when you hang out with your friends,
they keep leaving him hanging, though. Like, it's like,
nobody gave this kid a high five. He gave some fucking good zingers.
Yeah.
And he's just like, up top?
No one.
I'm just like, dude, if I were a kid with him, I would immediately have gone, fucking awesome joke, bro.
Yep.
Nice way to leave me hanging until I high-five myself.
You were like over here. That's like if I.
Well, yeah, you bring it in, dick. Anyway, I could understand a rental, like you kind of put this on and you tune in for when the kids are doing stuff, and then just go do something whenever the clown is on screen, because that easily becomes the least interesting part of the movie.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
That's about all I got.
But now we're gonna have some fun.
We cooked up something special on the drive back. So
we know that this is definitely gonna get a sequel because it made so much goddamn money.
Yeah.
So we have cast 2 different casts for this thing. One if we want it to be good, and one if we want this thing to fail terribly.
Yes. I guess let's go ahead and go with the good version first.
Okay.
So this is who we would ideally cast for the adult versions of the kids. So coming in at number 1 for Richie, who is the smart mouth who does a lot of the quips, we picked Nathan Fillion. Because, who doesn't love Nathan Fillion?
We also did have an alternative choice of Seth Green because he played him in the original one.
Yes, if Seth Green is unavailable, then I would totally go with Nathan Fillion, because Seth Green has a reputation for kind of being that guy who does whatever the fuck he wants in a movie, and this would probably be the best idea of that. Now, in the book...
He's also very familiar with his character.
Well, maybe. I don't know how long he's kept up with it. In the book, Richie becomes like this radio DJ host who does wacky voices. In the miniseries, he becomes like a TV host, comedian. So, for the updated movie, I would see him being like a late night TV host, like Colbert or Fallon.
Yeah.
And doing stuff like that. For the role of Mike as a grown-up, we went with John Boyega.
Yes.
Again, because John Boyega is an awesome goddamn actor, and I want to see him in more stuff. I would probably put him basically as they have him in both book and movie, and he kind of takes over the History of Derry project from Ben.
Yeah.
And he becomes kind of the guy who watches and calls everybody back when it finally returns again. The only one I'm not super sold on is Amy Adams for Bev.
I had a couple different ideas for her. Like, it was just...
honestly, I could take or leave it. She's probably not the first role I would pick, but she has enough qualities to where I think she would work well in the role and would probably do a good enough job. For the role of Stanley...
Who was your second pick for her? Because you had a second pick instead of Amy Adams.
I don't remember. I didn't write it down. For Stanley, we went with James Franco. Because Stanley is kind of the nervous worrywart of the group who sort of is just kind of there.
Yeah.
And James Franco would fill that role perfectly. No offense to you, Mr. Franco, if you watch this, but we think you would be perfect for Stanley.
Yep.
You also kind of got the Jufro going on with the hair, so.
I mean, and also
you know, if you're not too busy doing Tommy Wiseau for something.
Let's not forget his epic moment in the Alien movie
as crew member that burned to death. For the role of Ben after he's grown up, Alan Tudyk. Because again, who doesn't love Alan Tudyk? The man's fucking awesome. He's basically a chameleon. He's easily the best thing about Transformers 3, and that's not saying much because I really hate that movie. Jeremy Renner for Eddie was your idea. Eddie Kaspbrak is the hypochondriac and person with overbearing mother. And personally, I think it'd be interesting to see Jeremy Renner in that kind of a role.
Yeah.
Because lately he's been portrayed as a Hawkeye action star. So it could turn interesting.
He actually, he was in a movie called Wind River that was actually, he gave a really good performance.
I've been meaning to watch that, actually. Now, for the role of Bill all grown up, we kind of had a split. Personally, I'm pulling for Brandon Routh. If they're going to maintain focus sort of with Bill as like your lead protagonist, Brandon Routh actually has a decent charismatic feel to him, and I think would work well in the role. However, if you didn't want to go your super good-looking Hollywood type, then I would probably go with our second pick of Mark Wahlberg, who would really be heavily dependent on good writing for the movie because...
Yeah, that's kind of... He's very hit or miss. I had a backup of a backup where I said Keanu Reeves.
You said Keanu Reeves. I don't think that would work well. Leave a comment down below if you think Keanu Reeves would work well as an older Bill. And that about wraps it up for who we would pick for what. Now on to the... That's for the good, yes.
For the terrible...
If we want this movie to tank, say we were two producers and we had sunk $50 million into this movie and we wanted to make it all and we wanted to keep it. This is who we get to tank this bitch. Starting out with Richie again, Adam Sandler! We gotta fight a clown in the sewer? I'm a fucking old guy now. I can't go running around doing this. Oh my god, he poked himself! For the role of Mike, we went with Tyrese Gibson.
You earned that paycheck, Tyrese.
You earned that paycheck, Tyrese. That will never stop being funny for me. For the role of Bev, I personally wanted to go with Kat Dennings because I hate her. I've never seen her in anything funny or good.
I said Amy Schumer for that one.
Also good for the exact same reasons.
Our backup for the Tyrese was Tyler Perry.
Yeah, if you wanted to go full on bad actor, just go with Tyler Perry. For Stanley, we went with Seth Rogen. Well, you went with Seth Rogen because, again, Jufro.
Yep.
And Seth Rogen, I've never seen Seth Rogen act his way out of a wet paper sack with holes at both ends. Kevin James for Ben.
Because
fat jokes are obvious. For Eddie, we went with John Cena.
Just because.
Because the hypochondriac coming out and ba 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 ba. I admit, I'd actually pay some money to watch that. And for our lead character of Bill, the timeless classic, Pauly Shore.
Fucking Shore.
Because we could just see that. We gotta kill a clown, dude. Gun to the center.
There's so many people you could get to
I initially wanted Rob Schneider, but the second he recommended Pauly Shore, I knew we had our nail in the coffin.
Yeah, we did.
Because who better to kill a movie than the man who killed Biodome? Well, technically, him and a Baldwin killed that, so it's neither here nor there. Oh, and as a bonus, we recast Pennywise for this.
Yes, we did.
Because we couldn't have Bill Skarsgård trying.
No.
We needed somebody who would understand that this project is not worth it and is going to tank, and I'd probably cut him a couple mil. Christopher Walken is Pennywise, the dancing clown.
Do it, Sean. Just do the voice.
Children, please come into the sewer. I am Pennywise, the dancing clown. I will horrify your nightmares, and you will float. Please come and have fun with popcorn and cotton candy.
I don't know why I love that so much.
It's because it's Christopher Walken. Another fun version you could do, Nicolas Cage.
Oh. It's scratching at the door! I'm scratching at the sewers!
Children, why don't you come into the sewer? We all float down here! That's about all we got, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share. All that good shit.
Let us know if you thought it was good or if you think it didn't live up to the hype. We want to hear from you.
Or if we're just a couple of fat asshole idiots that don't understand Stephen King's coked out brilliance. Maybe that's what you think too.
Yeah.
Perfectly alright. You're entitled to your opinion.
Alright guys, well until next time, we will see you later.